Let's give another round of applause for everybody. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And the first question is for you, Sushma, which has two parts. It's a very interesting title, Places I Have Called My Own. How did you zero it on? The second part of this is, was there a real incident which inspired you to write the story?
Well, firstly, thank you everyone for being here on a Saturday morning. Places I've called my own. I think it's hard to sometimes put it in words, but it has a lot to do with home, the story, and whether or not a person, especially a queer person, can make their life at home. And that's kind of what I was questioning through the film. So that's where the title comes from. And second part of the question, real incident.
Great, yeah.
I think, there were several things that kind of brought the story together, but during COVID in 2020, I made a trip to India, and I think there were just some images from the masks at the airport to the fact that my father had got COVID. He's alive. That was kind of where this idea that, I think probably we've all had that. I wish it was closer to home, but knowing that, but I couldn't have the life that I have here when I'm home. That was sort of the seed for, and then many other things, but yeah.
All right. We all went through it, right? It's a short pause in our life and we don't know where those years went, the COVID years. It's like kind of a memory lapse kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, we went through such a big incident. I mean, life is kind of pre-COVID and post-COVID now.
Yeah.
And yet, it may be because we're not fully ready to see it on screen, or I don't know, but it's like we don't see people with masks on screen. And to me, that is such a big erasure. It's like it never happened. It has to be such a big part of our collective memory. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And also kind of to represent, the masks we wear and all of that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you. The next question is for you, Vidushi. The voice in the shorts is yours and your co-director, right?
Yeah.
By the way, this movie is directed by Vidushi and her co-director Subarnatash. And there is one more friend, or like a couple of friends more?
So we were a group of 5
Okay.
and quite close. For this, by the time this film was made, we knew each other for 5 years, and we actually shared too much information with each other.
Very comfortable, yeah. So the question is the innocent conversation with your dad about puberty followed by some profound questions. Was this conversation planned or did it organically evolve into this?
We sat everyone down, and me and my co-director, we had a topic in mind, and we threw it out for a discussion. And the recording went for 4 to 5 hours, and it went everywhere. We had enough recording to make an episode on just moms. So, but yeah, everything came out organically. We started actually sharing with each other. Yeah, so nothing was scripted, but we did edit it out from 4 hours to 5 minutes.
Wouldn't it have been amazing to be a fly on the wall in this conversation? Yeah, let's sit around and let's talk about boobs. I love it.
We actually wanted the audience to feel that way, to be part of the group, laugh with them, feel they are also feeling relatable to it.
Definitely we all felt it, right? Yes, thank you. And all right, the next question is for you, Sushma. So, what was the process of testing the chemistry between the main actors in the film, like the tension between the mother and the daughter, the protagonist and her ex-girlfriend, and the lingering shadow of the paterfamilias. It feels so organic and real. How did you pull it off considering this is such a short film? I mean, this is a short film, but not so short.
Not such a short. um, I well, Tara, which is played by this fantastic actress Aditi Vasudev. I've worked with her before in my last film, Anita, and she and I were talking about the story and this character for a long time while I was still here and I was in the writing process. So with her, my work began way before sort of any other rehearsals. So I always knew that she was going to play Dara, and then it was about finding the others that would work with her. That was kind of my starting point. And so during casting, we did chemistry reads and things like that. So that's how. Yeah.
So, and there is light moments in this when the crow comes to the window. That was one of the lighter moments in the shot, which was well captured.
Yeah, that is, my aunt had said that once after my uncle passed. So it just kind of stayed. And it's something that is like the lingering question in the film, or at least one of the things that started the idea is what happens to patriarchy after the patriarch dies. Because patriarchy is not just like the effects of patriarchy. I mean, women can be victims of it, but also be safeguarding that same, because we're all products of the patriarchy. It's not just men. And so that was like the shadow, like that remains
It remains.
even within these women's lives, and how, in a way, that is what is causing the isolation of the three people.
Thank you. So, Vidushi, your 7-minute short has playful animation which captures the audience. You used a variety of techniques for this film, from hand-drawn animation to still photos to play animation. How did you do the treatment for this film?
So, among the five voices, two have the most prominent story in it. So, while we just had the audio, and we got this idea like if we give each audio their own medium to differentiate them visually, because we know the voices but not everyone knows them. So we locked down first the hand drawn animation because it was more a childhood story, a more coming of age, a puberty. But then we wanted to give a claymation for the more mature story, like to give that look. Then we decided on the other things around. The live action was actually our group, so we pass the camera around in a circle. So we'll take our own each other's photos. So how we are seeing it. So that was a fun activity to do. So yeah, we just decided on different mediums, whatever we knew to do.
Okay, and there were some videos also, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those were fun to edit. The things I saw when I searched for those videos.
Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Sushma, you mentioned about your previous film Anita. So IndieMeme has screened your previous film Anita, which premiered in Venice Film Festival. Has the recognition and success of Anita helped in securing production support for this film?
Yeah, there was a very direct effect, which is not always the case, but I was lucky that the company that actually that distributed Anita worldwide then also started productions, and so I sent them the script of places, and they got on board, and so we were able to make this film because of them, and they brought all the financing and everything, and we were able to do something longer. It's almost double the length of Anita, and just something at a slightly larger scale. So yeah.
Thank you. So the next one comes to you again. So you have graduated from Satyajit Ray Film Institute.
Yeah.
and you're currently pursuing your master's in visualization from Texas A&M. By the way, how was your finals? That's the reason you couldn't attend, right?
It's still going on.
Thanks for coming over. So are you continuing other projects while pursuing your studies?
So yeah, me and Subarna, we are developing a series out of this, like, 10-minute shots, like different topics, different groups. We are trying to develop something, though she is working on something, I'm doing my master's, so like side project currently, it's just going as a side project.
Okay, good luck, and we hope to see you here again for the meeting.
Yeah, sure.
So we can open up for the audience questions now. Yeah.
This is a question for Sushma. First, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you for probably like the best depiction of like the queer longing for familial normalcy that I've ever seen. Can you talk a little bit more about the scene of, the camera pans and we're kind of like transported into sort of maybe the fantasy of that, and like just during the writing process, like kind of bringing things to like that moment. Can you just like describe like a little bit, or just talk a little bit more about like that scene and that part of things?
Sure, thank you for that question. Yeah, I think as we were making the film, and even now, they're fighting for marriage equality in India. So this, I wanted to make something, that was about a queer person's desire for family. What is family? And of course, tied into that is the acceptance of your family, but also wanting one own's family. And when you think about it, like there is no visual for what that looks like for an Indian person. And a great desire for me was just even to create that visual. You can call it a fantasy, you can call it a dream. A very deep desire for that to be reality. An image of a family can be beyond a man, woman, and child. And so that was the fantasy. And the way to writing, I would have liked to stay in the fantasy, but I think it's also really important to mirror like what is happening, the reality of it. So that is really where that sort of shot came from, is that we see the fantasy and we see the place that she has called her own with all the patriarchs on the wall, and we turn around to the reality of what it is. So the longing still remains, but maybe there is some hope.
Yes.
Thank you again. My question is for Ms. Kadepon. But, I have to say that in some ways for me, the message is, of your film is very universal and actually represents, in a way, a definition of the human condition. So I understand your focus on the experience of a queer world, but in some ways I interpret it almost as a metaphor for a much larger definition of the human condition, including, for some of us, the experience that you go through via immigration or separation of generations. And I thought it was very brilliant how you had the focus on one part of that and leave the other almost to the imagination. So I'm just, I guess my question to you is, was that also part of the intent of the film, or was the focus really supposed to be on the queer experience?
Oh, that's a great question. I truly believe that universal stories come from specificity.
Yeah, good.
And so queer people queer stories are human stories, that is the idea. And so it is told through that lens, but of course it is meant to talk about the human condition. And thank you for saying that, because it means a lot that it can elevate to more than one person or a representation of a story, that it actually applies, and there are different layers to it that you can relate to it at different levels. So I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more? Yeah.
Yeah, this is for more for Sushma. A wonderful movie. The question I have is, you don't see too many movies these days, like you said, with the mask for Corona. And I think one thing that I think filmmakers do with that is they have the whole face for expression. And as I saw this film, one thing that I appreciated is these actors were able to express a lot just through their eyes. They don't have a lot to work with in terms of delivering a lot of emotional scenes. So, were there any specific notes you gave to the actors so that they could deliver those scenes with that? There's a lot of emotions in these movies. So, how did you go about giving those specific notes to the actors, or what is the question?
Yeah, that's a very specific question. Thank you. Yes, that was obviously a concern in terms of how emotions, and we did talk a lot about how can you convey things through your eyes and also acting through your body, like nonverbal, because you don't see their mouths moving. And so, yeah, we kind of rehearsed with that in mind. We also got masks made specially so that you could see. It's a little adjustment, but you could see a little more. It's like how much more of the face and eyes can you see? So we did get the masks tailored as well. Yeah.
I have a quick question for Vidushi. Has your mom seen your film, and what was the reaction?
Yeah, my mom has seen it. She enjoyed it. My father has not seen it.
What will be his reaction, do you think?
I don't want to imagine that.
Yeah, question for Vidushi. Both your movies are great. Now, this one, I think the one you have taken, Vidushi, I remember there was another movie, it's a Western movie, very similar to that, where they follow the girls around 14, 16, and then they talk something similar, and also other things. But in this, when you took it as an audio with animation, but not showing any of your face, is that the reason why you want to do that, or is it something why you went in that direction?
Yeah, animation does give that freedom, like to be open about anything and be anonymous. So one of our characters actually has her name as Miss Blue Whale. That's not her real name. So that did help for them to be more open about it. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest strength of animation.
Thank
My question is for Sushma. I really love the film, by the way. Even if it's 60 minutes, I would still watch it. It's amazing.
It's coming up.
So I really wanted to talk about the short selection that you have. There's a lot of subtext playing within the film. Particularly, there's a scene where this lead, I wanted to see how she would react when she was being told that it's going to be too risky if you wanted to take shot, and you actually cut it from behind, and you're not letting us see how she would react. And there were a lot of moments I was seeing. You're showing wide on how she would react, but there's no close up. And is it like conscious? I just wanted to talk to how you went with your cinematographer and how you came up with this short selection.
Yeah, I mean, it can get too technical maybe, but thank you for that question. Certainly, I'd like to believe that the shot selection was not accidental. It was definitely planned. And I think that I believe, and sometimes to my own detriment, but I believe that there has to be some room for projection from the audience and not just giving everything. So sometimes it's helpful to restrain so that there is room for the audience to engage and project what she might be feeling, or a camera pan where we can project our own homes, pictures, all of that within that space. So that was a big part of how we planned the shots.
Okay. Any more questions? Oh, over there. Yes.
This one's for Sushma. Great film, liked it. Was there any shot that you cut from the film that you were sad about cutting, and if so, why?
I will say there was suggestion for a lot more to cut because it's a long short film. Was there something I cut? There was just one shot that we cut, and I'm glad we cut. It deserved to be cut out. But it was not with the protagonist. It was like when you're building subtext within the story on the page, it sounds great, but when you actually sometimes see it in the film, in the edit, it didn't come through. So when we are at the funeral, at the cremation, we see like a row of men wearing the PPE gear, and Tara is the only woman. And then we had a shot of women outside the gate waiting, because as we know in cremation grounds, women are not allowed, but Tara can pass as a man, and so nobody's asking her anything. But that sort of subtext wasn't fully working, so we kind of took out the shot of the women outside the gate. It didn't make sense.
Okay. Any more? Otherwise, we can wrap it up. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.